Hi there, in this tutorial we will learn how to make background blur. Nowadays it's a trend to create a blur background image, and in this tutorial you will learn the entire process. So let's take a look how you will make your image background blur. At first we have to open our exercise file. So here is the file menu and we will go for open option. Here is our exercise file. Inside selection and masking folder, we will open this Max Illinois Wise Unsplash image. So you just have to select this image and then click on open. Okay, here is our image. We will make this background blur and we will keep this woman transparent. And if you take a look in this image, then you can have a look that this woman or this subject is clearly visualized. So it will help us to select this subject, and Adobe Photoshop have an amazing technology for image, that is subject selection tool, and we will use it. But before using our subject selection tool, we have to duplicate this layer. So here is the layer in our layer panels. We have to duplicate this layer, and therefore you have to right click on your mouse and then you will get this duplicate layer option. So I'm selecting this duplicate layer option and we will write this layer name as a subject, and I'm selecting OK. So you can take a look, a new layer is created, and please make sure this subject layer is selected. And right now we will select this entire subject, and therefore we have to click this select menu, and from there we will go for subject option. Okay, you can take a look. Our entire subject got selected. Actually, this subject selection tool specially using for a human's image, and that's really works nice with the human image. And you can take a look, this woman got selected properly with the subject selection tool. And right now we have to add a layer mask. So here is the layer mask option inside our layer panels. You have to click on this add a layer mask option, and you can take a look, a new layer is added on here. And right now we will convert this layer into a smart filter. So let's do that. To convert this layer into a smart filter, we have to click this filter menu, and from there we will go for convert for smart filters option. So you just have to select it and you just have to click OK, and you can take a look, our layers got converted into a smart filter. So right now we will make this entire background blur, and therefore we have to select this background layer. So please make sure this background layer is selected, and we will go for filter menu, and from there we will select this blur option. So you can take a look, number of blur modes are available, but we will select this Gaussian blur option. So you have to select this Gaussian blur option. So here is the tab for Gaussian blur, and to make this background blur we have to increase the radius. So let's increase the radius, and please take a look on here. Right now it's 3.6 pixels. I want to increase more. Right now it's 8 pixel. Oops, it's got 52 pixels, and you can take a look, this entire background got blur. But we will not put the radius for 52 pixel. I think 20 pixel will be better. 29. Okay, 20.8 pixels, and you can take a look. Now it really looks good. But if you want to make more blur, then you just have to increase the radius of Gaussian blur, and I'm selecting OK. So Here is the method that how you will make this image blur, I mean this background blur, and this is a simple way to make your background blur because you got the subject selected. And right now we will learn another method that how you will make a background blur with a taxi. And as I told you before that subject selection tool actually works good with humans image, but right now we will work with the taxi image and that will be little different. So let's do that. Let me close this tab. I don't want to save this, and we have to open our exercise file. So here is the file menu, here is the open option, and we will open this Matthew Hamilton Unsplash image. You can take a look a yellow taxi image, and you just have to select this Matthew Hamilton Unsplash image from our selection and masking folder, and you just have to click open. So this is our image, and you can take a look. In this image you will not able to find any clear subject. So if we select this image with subject selection tools, then how it's look like, let's check. So here is the select menu, and here is the subject option. So you can take a look. After using the subject selection tools in Photoshop, this entire taxi cabs got selected and it's not selected properly. So as I told you before that subject selection method actually works well with the human's image, and in this image we will not use the subject selection tool, we will use the quick selection tool. So let's deselect this selection, and therefore you have to press Ctrl D or Command D on your computer. So before using the subject selection tool, no, not a subject selection tool, before using the quick selection tool we have to duplicate this layer. So we just have to right click on here, and here is the duplicate layer option, and we will write yellow taxi. Okay, yellow taxi, and I'm clicking OK. You can take a look, and please make sure this yellow taxi layer is selected, and we will use this quick selection tool. So here is the quick selection tool, and right now we will select this entire taxi, I mean this first taxi. Actually my purpose is I want to keep this yellow taxi transparent, and I want to make this entire background blur. So this yellow taxi and this yellow taxi, I mean the rest of the image, rest of the part will get blur, only this first yellow taxi remain transparent. So therefore we have to select this first yellow taxi, and therefore we are using this quick selection tool, but we will use this add selection tools. Here is two different tools. This is the subtract from selection tools, and this is the add selection tools. I mean this, you can take a look, here is a plus sign and here is a minus sign. If you use this add selection tool with the plus sign, then the image get selected, and if you want to reduce or if you want to less the selection, in that case you have to click this subtract from selection. So we have to select this entire taxi cab, therefore we are using this add selection tools. So let me increase the size, I think 142 pixels seems good, and we will select this yellow taxi only, and let's start selecting. Please make sure only this first yellow taxi got selected. We will not select the entire image, only we will select this first taxi. So you can take a look, this first yellow taxi, I mean this entire taxi got selected, and we will follow the same method. That means we have to add a layer mask. So here is the layer mask option. So you just have to click on this add a layer mask option, and you can take a look. A new layer mask is added, and we have to convert this layer into a smart filter. So here is the filter menu, and from there we will go for convert for smart filters option, and we have to select OK. And you can take a look, our layers got converted into a smart filter, and you can take a look, this icon got changed. So right now we have to select this background layer. So here is the background layer, and right now we will use the Gaussian blur filter. So therefore we have to select this filter menu, blur option, and here is the Gaussian blur option. So you just have to click this Gaussian blur option. So here is the tab. So we just have to increase the radius 3 pixels, 8 pixels, and you can take a look, this background got blur. If you want to make more blur, then you have to increase the radius 30 pixel, and I think now it really looks good. So you can take a look, this first yellow cab still transparent, and the entire background got blur. If you want to make more blur, then you just have to increase the radius. So right now the radius is 95 pixels, and this is the output. So it's depend on you how much radius you want to place on your image. So I don't want to put 95 pixel, I want to put for 45 pixel. Okay, 45 pixels looks good, and I'm selecting OK. So this is how you will make your background blur of your image, and it's quite simple. So if you have any question regarding this tutorial, you can write in our comment box, and I will request you to try to minimum 3 or 4 times by watching this tutorial. Then you will have a clear concept and you can do this easily. So see you in next lesson. Ta-ta.